Hi there, my name is Irene and you are watching the Sugaridoo channel. Today I'm going to dive in my scraps and start making a scrappy quilt. A few weeks ago I was going through all my fabrics and reorganizing them, and I made 2 boxes of scraps. This is the warm colored box and I also have one with cooler colors. And I asked for suggestions on scrappy quilts and you came up with a lot of ideas, so thank you so much for all that. So I started googling some of them, and then I also came across some scrappy half square triangle quilts. And also after reading about making your own fabric by just improv quilting some scraps together, I thought maybe I can combine those two. So eventually I came up with this idea to make a scrappy patch of fabric and then add a solid piece of fabric to make half square triangles with those. I already tried to make some of those on the bee last night, so let me show you those. Oh, and if you want to support me in making videos like this, I have a few options for you. You can hop over to my shop to get yourself some of my patterns or maybe my Sugaridoo sampler ebook. Or you can go to the Sugaridoo website. I will put a link down here below, and click on the donate button to buy me a cup of tea, or a cup of tea and a piece of cake maybe. That supports me and helps me continue making these videos. But something else you can also do, which is completely free, just click the subscribe button and share these videos with your friends. But what I wanted to show you are these half square triangles. So these ones are a little bit on the big size, I think. So I made one big patch with all small scraps, and then I used one gray piece of fabric to make 8 half square triangles, which is a super cool technique that I came across on the internet. So I really like where this is going, but then I'm going to scale it down a little bit. So probably make the blocks about this big. Yeah, so let's dive into my scrap box and make some new fabric. So here I have my box of scraps and I'm just going through them, and since I'm going to make slightly smaller blocks as that I made yesterday on the quilt bee, I'm just going to go with one color tone for each scrap block. So I'm going to make a red one, yellowish one. That way all the half square triangles will be in the same color tone, and then maybe I can do some rainbow-ish thing with it when it's done. So for now I'm just going to pick one of these colors and start making a scrap block. Let's go with orange first. So the idea is that I'm going to patch together a square block, and from that square block you can make 8 half square triangles. And yesterday I started with a block of 15 inches, so that was quite big. So this is what I started with yesterday, and that block I am going to show you in detail how you're going to make 8 half square triangle blocks from one square. But this one, I guess it's 7.5 inches. Yeah, so that was 15 inches in total. So let's say I want to end up with a block that is about 4 inches. Then I should make a square of 8 inches. Let's add some seam allowance. Say I'm going to make blocks of 9 inches. There we go, decided on that. Let's give this a press first. There we are, all nicely pressed, and I have a rotary cutter and a ruler. So now I'm going to cut up some scraps, and 9 by 9 is 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. That is this big. So this piece could actually be over here. just like that. Let's see what we are going to add. Maybe I can trim this up in some triangles. And there we might just have a nice scrappy block. I'm not sure if it's all going to fit. It's just randomly cut and laid out. But now I'm going to sew this together. And let's see if I can make it a square 9-inch block. So here we have some strips. So I need to sew these two together first. And there we have another strip. Here's also just a triangle and a strip. So this should also be pieced together first. Let's stack that and take it to the sewing machine. I just put on my foot. It's number 97D, and that has a really nice 1/4-inch seam allowance. And it also has this guide bar, which you can screw on as a guidance for your fabric. But since my seam allowance with all this improv stuff is not that important, I'm just going to leave that out for now. When I'm sewing these scrappy pieces, I'm going to set my stitch length a bit shorter because I'm going to cut up all those pieces. So when I'm going to cut all those pieces later on, I don't want the seams to unravel, so I'm just setting the stitch length a bit shorter for now. Not sure if I'm totally following my own plan here, so let's go back to my cutting board to check it out. So here were the first two strips. And then this should be about a strip width. Well, I lost quite some fabric in the seam allowances, so this triangle is not going to make it work. Let's see. That's okay though, this part. Or maybe, yeah, no, this is okay. And then I need something to fill this up. This is also okay. Great. Let's see, what do we have? Could add this one. No, still doesn't make it. First this one, then this one, and then this one. Yep, that should do it. There we are. That is better. That will fit, definitely. Okay, so now I can piece these two together and also piece these 4 together. So there we go. I have this one here, and then I have this one. Let's place it like this. Nah, this fits better. Okay, I think we can make this work into a 9x9 block. Let's pick a inch ruler. Don't know where my tiny inch ruler went. This one will do also. So this should be 9 inches. That's precisely 9 inches. Well, almost. So then this should be added. That's way bigger, so that's good. And then on the other side I want to place this. We're going to lose some of the fabric here in a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and also on this side. So let's see. Yeah, that's way over 9 inch, so that's good. But the best thing with improv quilting like this is when it doesn't work and when you mess up and it doesn't fit, no problem, just add another piece and it will still look brilliant. So I'm going to add now first the 2 bottom pieces and then trim it so that I'm more sure that I'm going to add the top piece and that it still will make a block of 9 by 9 inches. So this is all sewn together, and now I'm going to give it a little trim, not trimming it exactly to 9 by 9 inches, but just making sure, because this piece is only 9 inches, so I should not end up with this piece being like this, because as you can see this line will then not be in the block, so then I would be missing a piece here. So let's trim this a little bit. I might need to trim off this a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to bring it up just a tiny bit. So here we have 11 inches, so I can spare this fabric, that's no problem. So when I cut it like this, I know it's going to end up the right size, and then I can just put it over here. So then when I flip it, it's going to be like that. There it is, my scrappy orange block, and I really like it. So now I'm going to trim it up to exactly 9 by 9. Then I will be trimming off this one completely. So maybe I should do it like this, because otherwise I would miss this whole strip. There we go. Yeah, and then I'll still have this orange triangle over here. Nice one. Okay. So that's the first step in the process. Make a scrappy block of just any size you want, really. These go back in the bin. So what I now made is this part of the half square triangles. So the scrappy part. So what you now want to add is a fabric that goes with it. I'm going to go for gray, so gray will be in the whole quilt, and then all the other triangles will be alternating in color. Yeah, so let's cut a gray square of 9 by 9 inches, or the same size as you ended up with your scrappy block. There we go. Already 3 blocks of 9 by 9. So what you want to do now is you're going to take your scrappy block and you're going to take one of your solid blocks and place them on top of each other. And how are you going to make 8 half square triangle blocks from this is that you're going to draw diagonals like so and like so. And then you're going to sew on a 1/4 inch from each of those lines, and also on this side. And when you've done that, you're going to cut it. So when you cut it like this, you cut it like this, and also in between. Then you will have 8 pieces which you can fold open, and those are your half square triangles. Make sense? Let me show you. So exciting! Here it is. So I've sewn these lines and these lines, and now it's already time to cut it up. So let's see, my total block was 9 inches, so the middle should be on 4.5 inch, and that is quite correct. You see, so here the sewing lines are crossing, so I'm going to cut it right through the middle. and then I'm going to cut it in this direction for 4.5 inches. And that makes already 4 pieces. So now I only have to slice those in half and then I'm done. So there are my 8 half square triangles. You can just fold them open and then you will discover what you made. How cool is that? A nice surprise from your improv block. How your half square triangles turn out. Awesome. I really like the size of these blocks. So I love these smaller ones way better than the bigger ones. So I'm going to give them a press and put them on my design board. Perfect little size to make a lot of them and turn that into a quilt. So the blue ones are a little bit too big for me. Now maybe I will trim them down, or maybe I will turn them into a pillow or something. But that's why you make a test run on something, right? Yeah, I really love how this turned out. Let me show you up close. I think the fun in this for making a Scrappy quilt also is that I can make a improv block of 9 by 9 inches every now and then from my Scrappy bin. And then later on turn them into half square triangles to add to my quilt. So I don't have to do everything at once, and I just can just work on it continuously. Every now and then when I pick a new color from my bin, I can make 8 of these. So this video won't contain me finishing a whole quilt with it, but of course I'm going to share my progress as I'm going to continue working on this one. There are so many options though to arrange those half square triangles. You can go arranging them in a whole quilt just like this, and then having all the triangles like this in the same direction. But you can also order them in a direction that you make squares like this, so diamond squares. What is it called? That's also fun. And you can also make a zigzag with it. So how does it go? Oh yeah, like this. So that will turn it into a nice chevron on your quilt. Pinwheels is also an option. And those you can also really nicely group with colors. So pinwheels. There are so many options with half square triangles. You can make flying geese. Also nice. So many options with half square triangles. It's going to be a lot of fun to play with them when I have a few more. So probably at the end of this video I'm going to add some footage of when I've sewn more of these blocks later this week. So stay tuned if you're interested. But besides that, this is the end of this video. I hope you like this little project for making use of your scraps. And oh, next week I'm going to give a tour in the Sugaridoo studio. So if you're curious about my workspace over here, make sure to watch the video next week. Thank you all so much for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye!